You're welcome back, and of course, your comments are welcome. We are live on X Spaces. You can interact with us also on Facebook, on YouTube, and of course, on myjoyonline.com. Let's settle for the details now. Now, the minority in Parliament is this afternoon demanding tough actions from President Mahama against the GOLDBOD CEO, Sammy Gyamfi, who was caught on camera doling out several notes of dollars to self-styled evangelist Patricia Cranton, popularly known as Nana Grada. Now, the incidents have received mixed reaction despite an apology from Mr. Sammy Gyamfi. The minority MPs have described the conduct as financial recklessness and shameful arrogance. Now, here's Member of Parliament's Finance Committee, Dr. Kabirutia Mahama.
Over the weekend, Ghanaians were subjected to a disturbing video showing Mr. Sammy Gyamfi, the National Communication Officer of the ruling NDC, and the acting CEO of the Ghana GOLDBOD, casually doling out bundles of the United States dollar to a known controversial figure, evangelist Patricia Odro, a.k.a. Nana Agrada. This display of financial recklessness is not only a betrayal of public trust, but a slap in the face of millions of Ghanaians currently grappling with the devastating effect of the cedi, inflation, and the unbearable cost of living. It is even more shameful that this act was committed by someone who has in the past championed populist rhetoric about economic discipline, cedi loyalty, and anti-corruption. While the cedi has shown signs of recovery, appreciating from 14.15 cedi to approximately 13.14 per dollar as at May 9, 2025, this incident undermines efforts to stabilize our economy. The casual distribution of foreign currency by a high-ranking official sends a message of indifference to the struggle of ordinary Ghanaians. The Bank of Ghana has constantly reminded us through various notices that pricing, advertising, receipting, or making payment for goods and services in foreign currency without authorization from the Bank of Ghana is illegal. The penalties for such violation includes a fine of up to 700 penalty units or a prison term of not more than 18 months or both. In other words, this is the prescribed penalty for anyone doing businesses with currency in Ghana or foreign currency without authorization from the Bank of Ghana. And from our checks, Mr. Gyamfi has not got authorization from the Bank of Ghana to do business with foreign currency. And it is clearly a violation of the Foreign Exchange Act, which has been passed to, this is a law governing the circulation and transaction with foreign currencies. We in the minority are calling for the following action or immediate actions. One, the immediate sanctioning of Mr. Sammy Gyamfi as acting CEO of the Ghana GOLDBOD. Secondly, we are calling for a full-scale investigation into the source of the dollar bundle displayed in the viral video. The president has clearly told the good people of Ghana that, just recently, about a week ago, that if you violate his own code of conduct, you are going to feel sanctioned. By now, we should have seen a letter being issued dismissing Mr. Sammy or suspending him pending further investigation. This is only the right thing to do.
So this reaction came from the minority this morning in Parliament. But let me bring you the foundation to this particular story. And for those who are watching for the very first time, this is what transpired over the weekend that has got Facebook talking.
na body ni na mama na ye family na mama ni na mama da o honorable Opulence I was a meeting who say woman Monday mommy our
Right, so this appears to be something that happened at a funeral ceremony. And you saw the acting CEO of the Gold Board, giving out money to this evangelist so-called Nana Grada. It's unclear the reason for that donation, but there's been a lot of reaction to this matter. Mr. Sami Jempi himself has come out to apologize, saying that he was only doing so not with any evil intent, but to show, benevolence to somebody who was in need of something quite urgent. The woman herself has also come out to speak to her. Now, this morning, the chief of staff, we are told, summoned Mr. Sami Jempi to the Jubilee House to explain his action. It's not clear whether that meeting has taken place, is still taking place, or will take place, and the subsequent actions that will be taken. But what sanctions can the acting CEO of the Gold Board actually face under the new Code of Conduct for Public Office Holder? And this is what we've put together to bring some clarity to this particular matter. So the new Code of Conduct for Government Appointees, and this was, launched last week by the President himself. And number one is declaration of conflicts of interest, and also to avoid ostentation. I don't know whether this falls under ostentatious, lifestyle. There's also no gift from parties with government interest. In this case, this is not the other way around. It is rather the government official who is giving gift to somebody. So clearly, as far as that particular matter is concerned, the code appears silent on this matter. There's also the declaration of official gift above 20,000. And again, the government official is not a recipient here, is rather the giver in this particular matter. And it's unclear how much money went to the evangelist, whether it's $800, $1,000, $10,000 is unclear. And also other matters that is contained in this code of conduct, no public funds for gift hampers. These are matters that obviously falls outside the scope of what we are discussing this particular afternoon. Well, we've heard from civil society groups, we've heard from the Center for Democratic Development. They say that at best, Mr. Jempi could be suspended for this show of, opulence in the full glare of the cameras. We've also heard from the Ghana Integrity Initiative. They're asking for presidential directive on this particular matter. Now, this afternoon, we heard the minority make the point that President Mahama should act tough on this particular matter. Now, joining me in the studio is the MPP's Dr. Kabiru Tia Mahama. He's a member of the Finance Committee of Parliament, member of Parliament for Wale Wale, also joining me in the studio. And of course, on Zoom, we'll also be joined by the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Mustafa Bandi. But let me start with Dr. Tia. Doctor, you're welcome to the program. First time seeing you. Yes, and I trust you are doing well. Right, so you took an interest in the matter. I'm wondering why. That is something politicians do. Everybody does. And I'm sure you've done it before.
Yeah, so every person, one way or other, show benevolence, show magnanimity, would, out of generosity, give much more politicians we do. But if the giver is politically exposed and what is being given borders on the laws of the country, there's every reason for world-meaning Ghanaians to complain and to raise issue. I'm not sure Mr. Sami Jempi would have had this public opprobrium and this kind of commentary and the backlash if he had given some 1,000 Ghana cedi to Agrada, or 500 Ghana cedi, or even 5,000 Ghana cedi on the quiet. People wouldn't have had this kind of, but you see,
it's the dollar that's the issue.
It is the dollar, and then this may be the tip of the iceberg, that a public official, a CEO, who we recently gave $279 million as revolving fund, person who has been in charge as the custodian of every gold mine in the country.
Right.
Now, a public person or someone asking for money, he has no Ghana currency with him to give. The only money left with him to give out was dollars. That shows the level of people wanting to keep dollars and transact in dollars within the country. And the laws of the country clearly prohibits that. And if someone is doing that, someone who should have known better, someone who is a lawyer, a layman could be saying, we can excuse a layman. If someone of that stature is doing it, every Ghanaian would have a reason to complain. And I think that this is why Mr. Shamini Gyamfi also realizes that, look, I have gone against the law, I have acted with indiscretion, and I should apologize. And I think that we made it clear in the press statement that if anyone is suggesting that Mr. Shamini Gyamfi did nothing wrong, the person is clearly being hypocritical or lacks understanding of the rules governing.
And they are asking which particular law he's broken.
Well, so even if we have no benefit of reading the law, if you're a follower of Ghanaian economy, you have realized that the Bank of Ghana has issued several notices directing and warning against anyone transacting, receipting, or making payment in dollar or any foreign currency. Even if you did not read the law, you have followed the announcement and the notices and the advice and then the warning by the central bank. Aside that, the Foreign Exchange Act, Section 3, talks about licenses. In other words, Section 3, subsection 1, clearly says that no person shall be allowed to have any business to do with dollar without authorization from the central bank, the Bank of Ghana. If you read subsection 3 and 4, it clearly defines what businesses with dollar is. It includes payment and receipting in foreign currency or dollar, or any foreign currency for that matter. We also know that we chose for ourselves the Ghana cedi as the legal tender. In other words, for transaction, anything having to do with money payment in Ghana, within the shores of Ghana, within the jurisdiction of Ghana, that payment must be made in Ghana cedi. And that's what the law clearly abhors or fronts on the fact that you even price anything in dollar.
In this case, he says it was a gift.
So now, the point is that you are gifting someone in dollar, not even in cedi. You are transacting, whether it is gratuitous or for benefits, you are transacting in dollar.
Maybe that was the only money on him at the time.
And that even speaks of the fact that why should a public officer not holding cedi, but holding dollar to a funeral? You see, those are the questions. That the fact that you even have the incentive as a public official to keep money in dollar and you can transact with it within the shores of the country speaks of the level of respect you put on the laws of the country. So clearly, there's no justification whatsoever for someone keeping dollar. And if you read section 15, it even says if you want to do business or international payments, Mr. Gyamfi could have said that, look, I wanted to pay something offshore and I needed the dollar to pay, and that argument could hold. But the law says that even if you want to do some sort of international payment, they must be done through the bank. You can't go withhold. And even if you want to travel, those of us who travel more often, if you want to travel, they demand that you must show proof of travel. I can have dollar account. Okay, every Ghanaian can have. Okay, but it must be with the bank. If I want to travel, I must go and demonstrate that I want to travel. And I can only be entitled to $10,000.
Not more.
Not more.
If it is more, you declare at the airport.
If it's more, you have to do it through wire transfer.
Or you declare it at the airport.
Well, or that is if you want, they will not even give you. That's the rule. But if you have more, if you get it through other sources, maybe through the bureau, through the bank, and you put all that together, it's more than 10,000, you must declare. Otherwise, you must make wire transfer. So these are the reasons why we have issues. As a person, I feel sorry for Mr. Shamini Gyamfi, a young person. I would have loved that he didn't get himself involved in this. With all sincerity, I have no issue whatsoever against him. But the law is the law.
I'll come back to you because we are asking for certain demands from government. Let me bring in Mustafa Bande, is the deputy. We don't have him yet. When we have him, we'll bring him so that we can ask him some few questions as to what government is doing about this particular matter. But Dr. Tia, at the news conference, I heard you make the point that at that time, you said you were picking information that the national security may have undertake some search in it. So I don't know whether whether this information is credible.
Yeah, well, we cannot confirm that. We were only reading in the news that the presidency has directed that his house should be searched. I hope it is true. If it's not true, then it means that the government, through to our call, has not done anything about the situation.
But this morning, the chief of staff summoned him before him, summoned him to come to the Jubilee House.
The question is, you are summoning him to come and do what?
To come and explain his actions.
Do you need to explain? Do you need to explain that the president has clearly told us the code of conduct? And he said when you breach it, you are leaving office. The president should have even first, before even calling him, issued a statement reaffirming his faith in the code of conduct, reaffirming his fidelity to the laws of the country, before he even called Mr. Semi Gyamfi to come and possibly order ultra pattern. Okay? Before you condemn a man, let him be hurt, right? But you can start by instilling and invoking confidence by first asking for his suspension and conducting investigation. If nothing is found improper, then you can reinstate him. But you don't say that, oh, come and explain. If I come and say that, well, the man has already even explained himself in his social media post. There's no explanation whatsoever that you need from them. The man has explained himself and apologized for same. So I don't know the kind of explanation the chief of staff would want from Mr. Semi Gyamfi. In other words, maybe they are looking for excuse to exonerate him or to pardon him of any culpability that he would have been facing. But
the government code of conduct, the only where this matter may come close is where he mentioned, for example, that office holders must not lead ostentatious lifestyle. I don't know whether that is where you think he's fallen foul.
So the code of conduct has also mentioned that they should eschew opulence. They should eschew opulence.
And this for you?
Clearly, a man in the car, even the kind of car he drives, okay, the payment or gift.
It's unclear whether the car belongs to him.
Whatever it is, the payment or the gift in dollars is clearly opulence. No other currency can you use to demonstrate opulence in this country than the United States dollar. Maybe the pound sterling, right? So clearly it falls within the definitional elements of what opulence constitutes. The man has also said they need to be counted for the use of public funds. We don't know whether Mr. Semi Gyamfi, the amount doled out to the evangelist were public funds or not. That we cannot establish, okay? We would give him the benefit of doubt on that, okay? But clearly, you can't say this does not fit under opulence. I mean, what will explain that? Generosity to give someone in the United States currency that is not even a legal tender within the country. I mean, it is for the good people of Ghana to decide and for the world media to analyze this issue. But clearly, this action on all fours are within the code of conduct that the president so launched, and even the laws that I have not mentioned about the Currency Act. Even though there's no explicit provision on the currency, but it said that anything you do that undermines the value of the Ghanaian cedi constitute an offense.
Offense, wrong. And then you are asking from Dima, but before you do that, let me just read you some comments on social media coming from loyalists of the NDC, including some certain members of parliament. Your colleague, Francis Xavier, also says that it is well, you committed no crime. The haters are hurt. They can't believe that God can lift and bless you such that you can become a blessing unto others. Leave them. Let them do their worst. We got you. God has your back. Stay focused on bless. And this is coming from Francis Xavier.
With the greatest respect to my senior and to the lawyer, I think that this is blind solidarity. So blind solidarity. He knows, much as we all know, that comment he made is not made born out of fidelity to the law that he practiced. It's not made born out of the fidelity to country and the nation. It's purely based on relation. And look, from a personal point of view, I feel sorry. If you say haters, who are the haters? Me, that the appointment that I will not even get. If Semi Gyamfi should fire, it's going to another NDC person. So I have no reason to hate Mr. Semi Gyamfi, right? Those people, NDC people who are complaining, that is probably those he's calling haters. The NDC members who are complaining. But look, they have every reason to complain that I'm a party foot soldier. I'm asking for school fees from someone. The person says he doesn't have school fees to give me. And then sin giving money, saying he's generous to someone who is not technical quote-unquote, not needy. Agrada is not needy. Agrada may be richer than myself and you. So that clearly, it is for them to handle at their party level. But if you characterize those people as haters, I'm afraid Mr. Susu is just only showing blind solidarity and is allowed. A lot of the NDC people put up social media comments, some of them deleted them thereafter.
Right.
I know a lot of them, I can mention them, but they upon hindsight, in solidarity, they realized that they were erring. They cannot defend such a thing.
The Center for Democratic Development, Tio Champon, says that at best, Sammy Gyamfi should be suspended for his conduct. The Ghana Integrity Initiative is asking for some kind of a probe by the government, and if the government wants to continue to win the support of the people, then this is a classical example of the president coming hard or soft on this appointee. First, let's start with the CDD. They think that at best, the worst that can happen to him is a suspension. Is that what you think?
I think it's the least that could happen to him. That's the least that could happen, considering the gravity of what he has done. That's the least that could happen to him. But if CDD is saying the worst, I don't know whether they are saying that what he has done is wrong, but because it's first-time offense, there should be mitigating measures, or because he has apologized. And I ask a question. Now, if Adu Bohino should come and apologize that I'm sorry for exercising this guy, will the government leave Adu Bohino?
But that's an entirely different matter.
No, I'm just asking, because it's an offense, so-called, right? It is a wrong, all right? So I'm just asking, if we take solace in the fact that someone comes to apologize, right, then he should be allowed to go scot-free. Then I don't think that should work for this country. So CDD is being charitable. CDD, with the greatest respect, if they say this is the list, and even our press statement, we said, okay, pending further investigation. If you say you suspend him, well, you suspend indefinitely. Suspension indefinitely is also a punishment. But suspension pending investigation is the least that the president can do. And I think that if they had mentioned that, I wouldn't have had any issue or qualms whatsoever with that.
And then your own demand is what exactly?
Well, we are asking that the first demand was a suspension and further investigation. That's the first demand.
Perhaps the same thing that CDD is saying.
The same thing they are asking for. The second thing that we are asking for is a full-scale investigation to the source of that money.
Okay.
There could be public money. There could be private money. Okay. But that does not stop the fact that there has been an offense. Now, we have to go to the full length, because we are giving Sammy Gyamfi the right of defense that you have not broken any rule. That's why we are saying that further investigation. If the Attorney General is so minded, he has to try Sammy Gyamfi within the laws of the country. Because if we are not able to curtail this issue, then we have no business coming after Abuchi. If we are not able to make any good out of this situation and demonstrating leadership, then we have no business chasing poor people trying to sell dollars and make difference of 1 Ghana cedi, 2 Ghana cedi for a living. Okay, so that is the expectation. This is the classical case for the president, and we mentioned in our statement that, look, God has a way of testing the faith and integrity of men. That beyond the rhetoric and beyond the words, the heart, whether the heart can stand the tribulation. The president, just a few days ago, mentioned that he's taking his appointees accountable. Locus classicus. He should act. If he fails in this, then whatever we are saying about discipline, about opulence, about code of conduct is mere noise. Nothing else.
But my concern is the sincerity politicians display, especially when it comes to matters of this. I remember when the Cecilia Dapa issue became topical. The NDC, including Sammy Gyamfi, who is now at the center of this controversy, was quite hard on the woman, asking that she be investigated, prosecuted for, keeping money in her home. The OSP, after their investigation, came to the fact that they didn't find any evidence to say that the dollar or the dollars in question was from a tainted source. And for that matter, the matter was left to Iyoko to investigate. Now, I remember the MPP defended Madam Cecilia Dapa throughout the entire process. The matter is still before court. I mean, how do you reconcile?
First and foremost, the NPP never defended Cecilia Dapa throughout the whole course. Even at a point, she lost her job consequent to that. That's one.
The president suspended her.
Yes.
Accepted her.
That is what I'm saying.
Her desire to step aside and allow for
maybe Mr. Sammy Gyamfi can do the same. She lost her job. Probably it was backroom negotiation that president bring your suspension. Better than me firing you. right? So you cannot say MPP defended the woman all throughout. Again, at a time that the dollar was suffering, some of us said that, look, it doesn't make sense. There's no justification whatsoever that the CD is suffering, then you are keeping dollar in your house for someone to come and steal the dollar, right? There were MPP members, just like NDC, some NDC members are, who were speaking against Madam Cecilia Dapa. So it cannot be true that the NDC, throughout this particular journey of Cecilia Dapa, has never had question to scold her or to question her conduct. Now, I'm happy that some NDC members are also questioning the conduct of Mr. Semi Gyamfi. Unfortunately, they are not questioning the conduct as a but they are questioning the fact that he's giving it to someone who is not an NDC member. That's the only difference that I'm seeing in this whole episode. But they should be concerned that at a time that the government is claiming and asking us to praise them that the CD is gaining some grounds, a government official is doing something diametrically opposed to a policy directive of giving out your dollar and deal with your CD, right? That is inconsistent with their own policy, and that is inconsistent with the call on every Ghanaian to start patronizing the Ghanaian CD and to demand less of the dollar. So these are the issues we have. So I think that in any case, if MPP even did it and they got punished for that, shouldn't NDC take clue? Right? Again, he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. Mr. Semi Gyamfi is an apostle when it comes to issues of this nature. Anti-corruption, CD loyalty, economic discipline. He speaks, he's a voice. In fact, he speaks authoritatively when it comes to such matters. He is the leading voice of the NDC when it comes to communication. He's a spokesperson for the government, of the party in government.
Right.
Right? So such a person, we cannot hold brief for such a person. We cannot make excuses for such a person. If you and I make it, if a foot soldier in Abosonka, if an NDC foot soldier in Bunkpuru or Wale Wale does or any of this thing, we would pardon, or we can say let's pardon. But you are the one, a lawyer, speaking for the NDC, brought the NDC to power, committing the very offenses that the Ghanaian people punish the NPP for. We cannot say that we should let it go.
We'll be winding up soon, but let me bring in some other comments that I'm seeing on social media. So this is also coming from Shamima Muslim. She's the Deputy Government Communication Minister, if you like. Now, she says, is the recipient of the gift that has created this brouhaha. But the broader issue is how public servants are constantly navigating expectations. If you say no, you are seen as insensitive. We need a broader conversation on government financing and how to get boundaries. I'm sure this is something you also face on a daily basis.
You see, I'm happy that she's now changing her tone, her tonation, and her approach. She made a comment earlier on, and she has cause to delete it. And it all came in the defense of let's defend, let's defend. Now, the giver is wrong. The receiver is wrong. You can't then try to say that Agrada was not holding gun to his head and say that give me, right? That broader issue we can all discuss it. I agree that politicians and public office holders, there is this demand that when you step out in the car, people want you to give money.
Right.
Right. That demand is there. We can all discuss it. We can all say that that culture should be disdained. That culture should not be countenanced. We should confront it head on. We can all discuss that. But the moment you are not able to confront it and you fall foul of the law will have to take its course. So I think that blaming Agrada only on this matter, even in our press conference, we even say that, look, she's receiving, she's also committing an offense. Because aside that, there is the income tax law that requires that any gift you have to pay tax on it. Within 21 days, she has to go and file tax return on that amount and declare. And the GRA has an opportunity to demonstrate that their accounts, which has recorded zero for gift tax, will now have opportunity to record some income. And that will send a clear signal to every Ghanaian to begin learning if I have the gift, I'm supposed to pay tax on it, and you can call it the Agrada case. I think that it is important for the GRA to also show the way in this matter, so that when they call after her to pay the tax on the amount, whatever amount, 10,000, some are alleging, 5,000, some are alleging, but what is clear on record is that the amount so given is in excess of 10,000, or in excess of 2,000, because count was more than 18 no's. 18 count was more than 18 no's. And
before
she grabbed
$1,800?
Yes. before she grabbed the others, right?
Okay.
If you follow the video slowly, the count on the amount was more than 18 before she grabbed the others. So if people are even saying $800, I just think that they wanted to fall below the 20,000 gift people are talking about. Clearly, if you watch the video is there.
The video is what
and everyone would
now.
Be candid with ourselves and look at the count and the pace at which it's counting. They were in excess of 800. 8 notes. They were in excess of 8 notes. Before the woman even grabbed the remainder of the bundle. Yeah, so these are the facts. So when people are throwing out figures, look at it. When people are throwing out figures and saying that it was only 800 and that it is 800, it is total lie on the face of the video. So anyone talking about 800 Ghana cedi is palpable lie because the count goes beyond 8. And the remaining of the bundle, and we know that logically, a bundle is about 10,000.
Right. If it is $100, if it is $100 note.
If it's, of course.
If it's $100, that's $10,000 bundle.
The only note in circulation in the country is 100, right? If it is, it's 10,000. Whether he had spent part of it somewhere before then, we cannot.
And that's the reason why you are demanding further investigation into this.
If he might have spent some somewhere before he even came to that place, especially so when he didn't have Ghana cedi with him, right? So clearly, there's no justification. And I think that the young man has realized his mistake. He's apologized, but unfortunately, apology is not a remedy to the law. The law has some consequences and penalties so defined. And if he fits within those, there could be mitigating measures, but the law should not take, we should not say that the law shouldn't take its course. Otherwise, if I commit it and they are asking for my head, I'll just say that because I am not in power or because I'm not in a position of influence, that's why they are coming for my head.
All right. We're hoping to speak to the Deputy the General Secretary of the NDC, Mustafa Bande, who is also the Deputy Operations Director at the Presidency. But we are here to get through to him and also get some governance experts on this particular discussion. But before I let you go, Dr. Tia, I mean, clearly, and this expose, if you like, dragging one of your own in the mud, obviously going to put pressure on you politicians, well, especially when people come to you asking for all manner of demand. I'm sure that by the time you get out of my studio, we may meet one or two people in front of the office showering all manner of praises on you with the hope that some small cities will drop.
I'm sure they will be advised when they begin to know that these are crimes that they are forcing us to commit. I'm sure they will advise. That's one. Two, again, I want to make it clear that it's just unfortunate that Mr. Semi Gyamfi has found himself in that corner. And again, personally, with my personal interest, I would say he should be forgiven. But that is not nationalistic. That is not building a country. But that is born out of my personal reasons. A young man, for that matter. These are matters different from the law and different from the laws that we have set for ourselves. The law may come to us at great discomfort and great displeasure. But if we find ourselves in that particular position, then we have to face the music, right? So put aside my personal interest in this matter, I think that Mr. Semi Gyamfi is a candidate for penal action, and he should face that. But if the president wants to be personal, that's my golden boy, I mean, whatever reasons is the eye of the NDC grassroots and you want, then he's sacrificing the nation for NDC and Semi Gyamfi. And I'm not sure that's the kind of leaders that we want to put on the throne. We want leaders who are able to take hard decisions, leaders who will look at the great discomfort and say, look, even this one is biting me, but I need to carry along the whole country. And I expect the president to come out this as a very strong man, as someone who is, when he says something, he means it. Otherwise, someone is asking, even 120 days, people are doling out dollars. Imagine what we have in 365 days. In 2 years, in 3 years. And I'm even surprised that in all this discussion, we don't even know where the president is. We don't even know where the vice president is. We don't even know where the speaker is. Of
course, you know where the president is in Togo as of this morning. The vice president is still on medical leave in the United Kingdom. The Speaker of Parliament It's unclear for me where he is, but the president we know
so
is in
clearly
trouble.
this country is without leadership because the
Why do you say so?
Constitution provides that in the absence of the president, the vice president, in the absence of both the speaker, right? In the absence of the speaker, the chief justice, we don't have chief justice. As to whether acting chief justice can be acting president, it's even an issue. So
as a member of parliament, you are not aware of any kind of transfer of power in the absence of the president?
The president has not communicated to members of parliament. He might have committed to the speaker, and the speaker has the responsibility of informing members of parliament.
But are you aware whether there's been any kind of a temporary swearing-in ceremony in the absence of the president?
I'm not aware of any of such. And if anyone is aware, they should educate us, right? But these are issues that I will defer. But it's something that we must be worried that the president and the vice president and the speaker can just get up and leave the country and leave everyone wondering where we are when the Constitution provides that when someone is not there, this person should be sworn in to take these duties.
The law says that in the absence of the president, the vice president should act. The vice president, as we know as of now, is still on medical leave in the United Kingdom. In the absence of the vice president, it is the speaker of parliament. Well, as far as I know, we are not privy to any kind of a swearing-in ceremony as demanded by the Supreme Court. And then in the absence of the Speaker of Parliament, it is the Chief Justice. The Chief Justice on suspension, the acting is still in office. But nothing official as far as the change of command is concerned.
Yeah, I hold the view that acting Chief Justice is not the Chief Justice. And he cannot be made to superintend over the country. It's an issue for a constitutional interpretation. Maybe someone would have to invoke that and ask for clarity, right? I know Kukaza had cause or someone had a cause about the swearing in, whether the person must necessarily be swearing in. There must necessarily be some swearing in. The Supreme Court actually had the ruling that, yes, it must necessarily be sworn in. It cannot be by way of, by default, once the person is not there, the person acts. So we have jurisprudence, we have precedence, guidance of this. But when both or the three of them are not there, and we have acting Chief Justice, it's a constitutional.
You think it creates a vacuum?
Clearly, if there's a decision to take, even though there are other people who hold the view that if the president is not physical within the president,
he can still conduct his business.
Yeah, but
because of technology.
But the court disagrees with that. The court disagrees with that.
He must be physically present in the country.
He must be physical.
Once you are out of the jurisdiction.
Once you are out of the jurisdiction, you are not the president so-called, proper so-called. They must at all point in time be someone physical president within the jurisdiction of Ghana, right? That's what the Supreme Court decided on. So the president doing wireless meetings, doing online meetings, on asking the chief, that is not the president within the country. He's a president at large, okay? And it is an issue that people, the lawyers and then the constitutional experts should be asking.
But is the minority taking any keen interest in this matter?
Yes, I'm privy to some discussion. Some minority members, especially those within the constitutional and legal affairs committees, are raising that we are not hearing anything. Is it the case that it's a country that we say no one can decide to do anything? Maybe they will come out once we begin to broach discussion. The president, in the interest of the nation, the communication director should put to bear the arrangement so that everyone will know that this was what was done. This is the arrangement. This is the person in charge, so that we all know that Mr. Bafo Boni is the president acting. Then we'll know. Or the speaker is whosoever is within the boundaries of the country. But if they keep everyone silent and think that, okay, they can do everything, I wonder if that is how we want to run a country. Democracy is run on transparency and accountability. All right. Including the people who govern us.
Dr. Thank you so much for coming. When do you hope to hear from the president on the summit?
Well, so we back end of close to today, because they cannot be meeting that we are allegedly mentioned that there was a meeting, and we will not hear anything from the presidency. If the purported the report that Mr. Semin Jemfi has been asked to research is anything true, we expect the national security again to also give us any statement by close of today. We'll give them by midday tomorrow. But like we said, this is matter that we don't intend to rest. We'll continue to pursue it. We'll use every legal measure. I, as a member of the finance committee, the Gold Board is under our oversight.
Right.
So if anything happens there, and we are now learning that Mr. Semin, whether it's true or not, the terms of service of Mr. Semin Jemfi is something that has been brought to question on the back of all this thing. Someone cannot be taking 125,000 Ghana cedi.
The remuneration.
The remuneration, 125,000 Ghana cedi a month
over 20,000 Ghana cedis for colonial allowance, over 20,000 Ghana cedis for fuel allowance, 6,000 for security, 5,000 for gardener, some 2,000 per day when he's traveling outside the country, 2 Land Cruisers. If these are really,
but these are normal in the public sector, especially for sensitive state institutions like GOLDBOD, COCOBOD, Bank of Ghana. These are very normal.
These are humongous emoluments. These are emoluments that the president, in his own words, asked about discipline. Lean government should not be countenancing. Right? You can't say they are normal when someone is taking his monthly salary.
And the thing is that he didn't fix it. He didn't fix it.
So the people who fixed it are the people together with him. But there is what we call conscience. You can't say the fact that I'm being paid 1 million Ghana cedis, I didn't fix it, I should enjoy it. Even the very people who sat down and fixed it, if it's true, should be answering questions.
And the finance committee is not aware of anything. They are not
aware of any emolument. These are, they term them managerial issues. They bring them after the act and asking us to ratify. And I think that as a matter of agency, the finance committee, the chairperson, will not have to condone with it. We should call them and make sure that these matters are brought to the fore. Everyone would know how much the gentleman is earning by way of salary and emolument and remuneration. It will ensure transparency, and everyone will be happy at the end of the day.
We'll leave it here for now. We try to get through to the Deputy General Secretary. He is unavailable now to speak to us on this matter. Plus, some governance experts, they are all saying that they will speak at a later time. So we'll leave it here for now. But you've been hearing from Dr. Kabiru Mahama. He is the member of the Finance Committee of Parliament, member of Parliament for Wale Wale, and then of East Region. Doug, thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you very much.
And of course, let's take a short break here on the pod. When we return, we'll still talk about dollar. The dollar is coming down, but goods at Abosoka and other places are still the same. Why? We have answers for you relating to that question when we come back.